Hello, I want to talk to you today about the Google services that went down yesterday. And what has it got to do with digital practitioners' body of knowledge, site reliability engineering, DevOps, and all of those things? Yesterday, at around, I think, in between 3 to 5 in the evening India time, so I was trying to access a couple of services which needed a Google login, and then apparently the services just simply stopped working. And I was at first I thought, okay, probably is my password that's wrong. I changed it a couple of times. Then it said you need to authenticate further, and so it was basically Google trying to buy in time from the users who were actually competing for its services. So there was a worldwide outage, and a lot of Google services all across the world which needed a Google login, simply YouTube, Google, Gmail, and Google App services. So they all stopped working the world over. So this is typically one of the big outages that was reported in recent times, and this precedes, this supersedes the one that happened in 2019 as well, when Google admitted that their servers, there was a wrong configuration which was supposed to be on only few servers, and then that's supposed to have had a malfunction. They wrongly configured the servers. So this time around, the official version from Google was that they've exceeded the storage quota by some means, and they need to do something about that and spawn some new servers and all that. So all of these calls for typical strong site reliability engineering practices. Google has far more mature practices than the conventional DevOps, and Netflix also has what they call as the chaos monkey. Chaos monkey is they have a doctor that goes on injecting a lot of things that would trigger off a build or a malfunction in the system, and they see how the system behaves and how it is actually going to self heal itself and so on. So that's what chaos monkey does. So similarly, Google's site reliability head, he talks about the fact that they want systems to be automatic and not automated, which means continuing further, there was this tweet about a stay-at-home father who said that he's stuck all by himself with his toddler and in his home, where apparently his home is powered by Google Home, and since he's not able to log in, he's like completely in the pitch dark. So we have had such instances wherein essential services, in case they are affected, so it's like an apocalyptic situation wherein you feel you're near the doomsday as to what's really happening, and so much of the world depends on Google's services for pretty much everything. And this kind of episode exposed the fact that how strong need to be your site reliability engineering practices, your continuous delivery, continuous integration practices, and the fact that the downtime is no way going to small downtime can actually cause a whole lot of havoc in the user base. So it is said that if Google search algorithm is slow by a few milliseconds, the loss of revenue is up to $200 million, to something to that effect, in terms of what Google can actually make within that short time across geographies and across locations. So having said this, the site reliability engineering practices have kind of gone on a spiral, and they have improved all the way, and it is becoming better and better. So Google's head of site reliability engineering, Benjamin Sloss, said that he wants systems to be automatic and not automated. So what this essentially means is the engineers are the SRE practices or the site reliability engineering practices say that 50% of the time should be spent on ops and 50% of the time should be spent on development, which frees the development team to innovate and use the resources instead of firefighting. They have a lot more time to innovate and get stuff done. So that's one definite advantage of working at this scale. And the other one would be the concept of an error budget. So basically, error budget is something like what is the minimum amount of time that an engineering team can take to heal itself or recover and bring back the services and retain the uptime. So if you're saying 99.39's availability, then it means you can be down in a year up to 8 hours and so on. So if it is 99.3 and a half times, that is 99.95, then 3.5 nines is what they call. So then it is around 4 hours or something. And if it comes to 99.4 nines, pretty much it is around 5 minutes or so. So you could see the way in which things are actually becoming less. So the downtime in systems is going to be, so basically what the error budget, there's a concept of error budget in site reliability engineering, so which says that development teams can use that budget to play around with new features or put stuff into production, make it, build it, crash the systems or do whatever it is, but they're limited within that error budget. In case it exceeds beyond that, then they will have to they're answerable to the business, and business has commercial implications and brand and reputation implications. So it's teams are advised to play within that and play around with their build and come up with some innovative stuff. So that's the concept of error budget that is there. And then of course there is this concept of release engineers. So basically release engineers or SRE engineers, as the invented by Google, is a term that is a person who's in charge of the operational aspects of it, who's actually able to build all of these stuff, and who ensures that there is zero downtime, and their job is to ensure that during happy hours or Christmas or during Thanksgiving the servers don't crash, and people might be envious of their jobs, saying okay, the rest of the year they don't have much of the workload, but then when things really are on fire, they are the ones who need to get things up and running as quickly as possible to avoid the minimal damage to their systems. So having said this, the rate at which code is being churned out today is by Netflix and the likes of Google and Amazon is so huge that they want systems to automate itself, self-heal. They don't have the time to raise a ticket, track the ticket, and track it to closure. So all of that process needs to be is all crunched within SRE practices. So it's one level above traditional build, develop, test, deliver is gone from there to DevOps, and now DevOps to SRE practices. So SRE practices is like the advanced level version of DevOps, so wherein you're playing a more sophisticated game, that you're churning out hundreds and thousands of builds, and the systems are self-healing, and it's supposed to not crash. And then Google has actually got computer engineers from reputed institutions, and they have Chomsky engineers who are from very reputed institutions like MIT and Stanford and Harvard, who are interested with the ops job of writing algorithms that don't crash the system, and even if they were to crash the system, so they are trying to get it back up and running. So all of this is being talked about in the digital practitioners body of knowledge, which by the way talks about a lot of paradigm shifts, like moving from DevOps to DevSecOps, how to mix business, how to mix system thinking with critical thinking and solve customer pain points, mixing business and IT, how to use a combination of agile, lean, and design thinking practices to solve problems, and how to move from traditional project management to a product mindset, and so on. So basically, it's going through all of these things that are there, and it's up to people to make use of this body of knowledge. If you're interested, do mail in the link below, and we do offer, online as well as a self-paced e-learning on Dpbok. So thank you very much for watching, and we hope next time there is a Google outage, we are prepared, or if there is any kind of outage, we are better prepared, and let's hope things are in place. Thank you very much.